During the 2022 offseason, the Nuggets made a few moves to add some depth as they looked to contend. One of those moves was acquiring Bruce Brown on a 2-year deal, which has proved to be an absolute win as he's been a major piece throughout their pursuit of a championship. Coming out of college, Brown held the label of a two-way playmaker, a real athletic combo guard who had some size, could facilitate, was a threat in the open floor, and showed some flashes of versatility on the defensive end. But to many, he was very flawed. He lacked a consistent jump shot, especially off the dribble, had a real limited handle, which held him back as a creator in the half court. Although he could put some pressure on the rim, wasn't yet an effective interior finisher, and didn't have much feel for playing away from the ball. He was picked up 42nd overall by the Pistons in 2018, where he would spend his first 2 years, and his on-ball limitations really showed up. He just wasn't efficient at all from any spot on the floor, and despite having the ball in his hands, wasn't doing much creating. So much so that head coach Dwayne Casey actually came out publicly and said that he didn't think Brown could play the point. But what he did showcase during his brief time in Detroit was that he was a pretty good passer and could become a very good defensive guard, especially on the perimeter where he offered resistance at the point of attack both in isolation and when navigating screens in the pick and roll. And that's why when the Brooklyn Nets started putting together a contending roster for the 2021 season, they traded for Brown at a very low price to fill out their depth chart. This is where he would have his first chance to really impact winning basketball, and pretty much right away he served as a high quality role player next to multiple offensive stars. In that time, his touches were obviously cut way down from a season prior, playing a lot more off the ball, and his role was incredibly unique. Despite standing just 6'4", on offense he was used like a small ball big man, running a lot of screen and roll with ball handlers, and primarily scoring off of cuts or quick dives to the basket. More than anything, he served as a connector for the offense, making quick decisions off the catch, whether that was in the short roll, on the perimeter, or in transition, and with higher quality opportunities, we saw him producing a lot more efficiently, especially in the painted area. He was also a vital piece for them on the defensive end. He still had the point of attack capability he showed in Detroit, but by 2022 had developed into a truly impressive defender away from the ball as well. He always had the length and athleticism, but when he paired that with constant activity and just a better understanding of offenses from a mental standpoint, then it really started to come together, consistently making high-level plays as a helper, completely destroying passing lanes, and even providing some rim protection. However, there were still some areas holding him back from that next level. He of course wasn't getting many touches, especially in comparison to what he was asked to do in Detroit, and he didn't have any sort of outside scoring threat, so we saw some playoff defenses use him as a guy that they could play off of and give more attention to stars. Now in Denver, he's taken on a hybrid role, doing a little bit of everything from his multiple stops. You've got a lot more on-ball reps, touching the ball nearly as much as he was in that sophomore season with the Pistons, but you also have the much improved off-ball game we saw in Brooklyn, screening, cutting, making quick decisions off the catch as both a scorer and playmaker. And a combination of those two things, along with some natural skill development and a favorable offensive environment with the Nuggets, led to by far the best finishing season of his career, both creating and converting at the rim with more success. In addition to that, he's gotten a lot more comfortable taking threes at higher volume, nearly doubling his previous career high in 3-point makes every 75 possessions. On top of it all, he's as good as ever on the defensive end, and the overall product is an incredibly valuable role player, actively contributing to a potential NBA championship, and that was on full display in Game 4 of the finals, where he did a little bit of everything. Just like what was projected, he's really good in the open floor, running out after rebounds and turnovers for easy offense whenever he can. His length and athleticism are really dangerous when playing with pace. Although Robinson's there to pick up the ball, he throws a hesitation into a crossover to build up steam right around him for 2 points. He was abusing Robinson's defense throughout the entire fourth quarter, drawing some aggressive ball pressure and using a ghost screen from Murray to attack a wide open side of the floor, easily beating him off the dribble to earn a pair of free throws. In the half court, he likes to start his attack from multiple feet beyond the arc and build up speed, like in transition, this time rejecting the screen from Murray with an explosive crossover, which leads to another foul down low. He initiates this ball screen action from the logo, so that when he comes off, he can get the step on Bam in space, setting himself up for a truly impressive reverse layup. He's gotten really good at playing off of Jokic in the pick and roll like this. Again, from way out, he looks to get downhill, but Bam's right there to turn away his drive, so he instead takes 2 extra dribbles as he patiently waits for Jokic to roll, and goes to a little floater from the elbow, 2 points plus the foul. He's also great at slashing off the catch. Jokic comes up to set a screen so that once he gets the ball, he can attack open space, getting Martin on his hip, and going vertical to finish over the top of a smaller Kyle Lowry. He's a quick decision maker in these spots, beating Robinson off the bounce, which draws Zeller to the paint, leaving Aaron Gordon all alone on the wing as he hits one of his 3 shots from deep. That rim pressure from Brown opens up opportunities for him to showcase his passing ability, using a Jokic screen to get to the nail and taking 1 extra dribble to make Bam commit to the ball before leaving it to the big man on the wing for a high quality look that just misses. This one again starts with a little 2-man game between him and Joker. A give and go handoff action leaves him with a runway to the cup, drawing added attention down low and hitting Christian Braun on a cut. He doesn't convert, but Gordon's right there on the follow. This time, as he looks to get into a drive in isolation, Robinson sags off to protect the paint, so he instead steps into a pull-up 3. That was ultimately the dagger. I'm not saying off the dribble jumpers are a big part of his arsenal, but I do want to emphasize the confidence. Just a couple years ago, he wasn't even taking outside shots, and now he's comfortably pulling the trigger, even with defenders in his vicinity, and in Game 4 shot 3 of 5 from deep. That shooting helped guide him to 21 points on more than 85% true shooting, 11 of which came in the 4th, leading the charge to close in a truly great offensive game. And he also helped on the defensive end. I talked about how good he's gotten away from the ball as a helper, sliding way over to help on a drive and stripping the ball before quickly recovering to his man in the corner to close out and force them to reset the possession. His hands are incredibly active, switching on to Vincent after a screen and immediately taking a poke at the ball to force a turnover. In transition, he comes from the opposite wing to pick up Lowry and slow his push, again using his length to make a play on the ball and force another turnover. Those active hands help him as a man defender, constantly looking for opportunities to jab and bother ball handlers, and he uses his physical profile well on this play to absorb contact and get a solid contest on the fall-away jumper. Butler's just a tough shot maker. He's also great at dodging screens. Strus is looking to attack in the pick and roll, but Brown fights over and gets back in front of him to erase any advantage, forcing them to find offense elsewhere, which results in yet another change of possession down low. Brown's defense has been a staple for them throughout this run, and when he's got it going offensively, they're so tough to defend because of how well he attacks mismatches, especially in transition, and his versatility as a legit two-way threat has helped him develop into an elite role player. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out my website and social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think of Brown and what your predictions are for the rest of the series. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.